This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Instigator Rob Parker in 5 minutes. Christine Leahy joining me. Hour number 2 on a Monday. We're just starting here, folks. I'm very fired up about a lot of things. We're so right in hour 1 about Zsa Pachulia. Just so right.
You're not right at all.
By the way, let me just spend 3 minutes on this. I won't waste your time because it's not worth more than that. But Jacksonville, my bad, Saxonville, got a cool nickname, no actual titles. But anywho, they signed Blake Bortles to a new deal, and people are like, yeah! And I'm like, yeah, that shows you the scarcity of quarterbacks. First of all, Andrew Luck now returns. Same division. Deshaun Watson now returns. Same division. Marcus Mariota finally has an offensive coordinator. An elite offensive coordinator. This narrative that, hey, Blake Bortles was one play from beating New England. In a perfect storm, Tim Tebow also won a playoff game. And RG3 was an offensive rookie of the year. This league has never been about, when it comes to franchise quarterbacks, winning a game. Tebow won games. RG3 won games. That's not what it's about. It's about signing somebody that things don't go perfectly. Tom Brady loses Gronk and Edelman and Dante Hightower and gets to a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers has no running game and an average defense and gets to the NFC Championship. Drew Brees has a bunch of kids in his locker room and gets to the playoffs. Yeah, Tim Tebow won games 16-14 with Matt Prater kicking 84-yard field goals and the best defense in the league and playing lousy teams. They played the Patriots twice and got their ears boxed. Andrew Luck is back in division, 0-2. Deshaun Watson's back in division, 0-2. Marcus Mariota finally has a legitimate offensive coaching staff. You want to know what a franchise quarterback is? Jimmy Garoppolo gets San Francisco's talent. They can't win games, goes 5-0, beats the Rams, the Titans, and the Jags. That's a franchise quarterback. It's not, hey, our guy beat Buffalo in a home playoff game 10-3, and he had more rushing yards than passing yards. And oh, by the way, when Luck and Deshaun Watson were hurt and Mariota had a horrible coaching staff, he won 10 games. Franchise quarterback is about what can you do when things aren't perfect. This was a perfect year for Saxonville. Andrew Luck is hurt. Colts are a mess. Deshaun Watson's hurt. Texans are a mess. Mariota's got the worst coaching staff offensively in the league. That's perfect. You have a great defense. Nobody gets hurt. That's a perfect story. Tim Tebow got to the playoffs on that. When the rest of your division's falling apart, you have a great defense and a great kicker, and you win close games over bad teams. Jacksonville just locked up the 20th best passer rating in the NFL for years. Okay? Do you honestly, if I said to you, Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, Marcus Mariota, Blake Bortles, who do you feel good about? I'll tell you who's number 4. You just locked him up. RG3 and Tebow won games in this league. Brock Osweiler's won games. Mark Sanchez has won games. You want to lock guys up for 3 and 4 years. How would they be with a bad defense and no Leonard Fournette and a multitude of injuries and an average coordinator? That's a franchise quarterback. 16 games. Bortles had 21 TD passes with that defense and that running game. And Tom Coughlin in his ear. Sorry, I wouldn't have paid the money. I wouldn't feel great in Jacksonville today. My bad. Saxonville. All right, he's the instigator. Here he is. Rob Parker has got a bone to pick. So, listen, for the last hour, I have had these millennials, these softies like Christine Leahy push back.
Christine, are you a softie?
No, I like chippiness in the NBA. I like fights in hockey. But I don't like someone intentionally trying to hurt someone's leg after the play is over.
Zaza's an enforcer. He's a less skilled player. Westbrook came to the 10. Little reminder, this is big guy territory. Didn't bother me at all.
It didn't bother me either. I mean, it's a different NBA. You know this. I covered those Knick teams back in the 90s with Oakley and Anthony Mason and all that. And it just was expected. You came to the paint. You expected it. Even Michael Jordan, remember this. Michael Jordan was not babied, didn't get all the calls. And you know what? Those teams, the Pistons and the Knicks, made Michael Jordan, if you remember this, a jump shooter and a damn good one because he used to go to the rack all the time to dunk.
Here's a true story. When Michael Jordan broke in the league, my high school coach at the time, Jim Kahn, still alive today, tip of the cap, best high school coach I ever had. He said to me, I remember sitting in his living room because he would invite the team over. He said, he's not going to last in this league going to the basket. Because we were watching the Bulls game and Jordan got like splattered all over the court. And my coach said, he's just not going to last. You can't do that. Well, to your point, the Pistons and the Celtics forced Jordan to pull up more, and because of it, he became a much better shooter.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. He adapted.
Yes.
You remember he was known as the dunker and all that, and people – and the same thing, sometimes I think people forget what went on. Michael Jordan was bashed in his early days when he first came out that he doesn't make his teammates better. He was just a dunker. He won't ever win. We heard all that stuff. And that's why when I heard LeBron and these people saying, oh, they're haters, this is what you go through when you're that guy until you break through and people see you win.
By the way, here's my other thing. Westbrook's now an MVP. He's a target.
Absolutely. When you're that kind of player, you are a target, and you just have to play through it. And obviously you don't want to get hurt or take a cheap shot, but being physical with the guy who's as gifted as he is, I don't have an issue with it.
So my theory on LeBron is LeBron's not mad at the officials. That LeBron actually moved back from Cleveland because he loves Cleveland. It's his home. And he absolutely, there's a part of his heart and his soul that loves Cleveland. And then Kyrie, it was all going well. And then Kyrie got hurt. And then Durant went to the Warriors. And now he's like, all right. So they rebuild the team for him, and it stinks. And then they break it up again in January, and they rebuild the team for him. And this one isn't any good either.
How you like that team? Wait a minute. After the first two games, I heard everybody, oh, look at what they did, and now they're younger and more athletic.
They are younger.
Okay, but they're no closer to beating the Warriors.
I agree.
That team with those –
I agree.
this.
I agree. I for like 3 games, Whitlock went nuts. I did say this. I do think they are younger and more athletic on the defensive end. But I still think offensively it's LeBron and a bunch of C-plus guys.
Absolutely. And you know this. In June, it's about stars. You know what Kyrie averaged against the Warriors in the postseason, the playoffs? 28 points. Where do you make that up? 28 points and shot 40% from 3. Where do you make that up? With role players? That team is no closer. LeBron knows he's not going to win.
And he's frustrated. He's not mad at the officials in San Antonio. He's on the court knowing, I can't win with this team either. I'm going to get swept by Golden State again. He can see it. He can sense it. All right. So Stan Van Gundy comes out. Stan Van Gundy's kind of a legendary NBA coach. Jeff Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy. Do we have the soundbite of this stuff? So he doesn't like the NCAA. He thinks they're hypocrites. By the way, nobody likes the NCAA.
I think the NCAA is just this short of organized crime.
Okay,
I'm serious.
That is a little, come on, let's slow down. All right, here's Stan Van Gundy talking about the whole one and done in the NBA, and he hates it, and he wishes kids could go right to the NBA.
The NCAA is one of the worst organizations, maybe the worst organization in sports. And they certainly don't care about the athletes. And they're going to act now like they're just appalled by all these things going on in college basketball. Please. You know, come on. It's ridiculous. And then it's all coming down on coaches.
Let me say this. This interstate, Rob, has more than one exit. Okay, I think the NCAA is a bunch of hypocrites. I don't think it's perfect. Okay, but you can't live in a society where Arizona or Louisville are having brothels on campus and paying players, and Gonzaga and Virginia aren't.
I agree.
There are rules
I
here.
agree with that part.
Okay. Secondly,
okay,
let's just say it's an African American player. Although there's plenty of all sorts of kids from all over the world playing college basketball. So I'm a 17-year-old African American kid. I can go to the G League. I can go international. Or I can interview, which, by the way, there's a system set up. They can interview 6 agents, choose one, and for 9 months, he pays for a trainer. All he says is, you got to keep me for the first contract. So you interview 5 of them, choose them, and he gives you $100,000 or $150 for 9 months, and you work out with a trainer, and you still get drafted. And let me just throw this out. If you don't go to college, frankly, there's a little bit of a mystery about you. It doesn't necessarily hurt your draft stock. It doesn't necessarily, the more people see of you, the more they pick you apart. This idea that a kid that does choose that one exit off the interstate college basketball It ruins his life. It's not coal mining. Like, it's not going to Afghanistan. Let's say you end up going to Carolina for 9 months and not getting paid. Kind of a cool life, right? Isn't Steve Kerr a better human having gone to the University of Arizona for 3 years?
No, I get that part, but the only thing is there's just no reason. It's the only place, and we're talking about the NBA. I blame the NBA players and their union for agreeing to this, okay, because they're really at fault.
Oh, it's their rule. The one and done is their rule.
It's their rule, and it's a bad rule from this standpoint. Why in the world would you stop a prodigy? Nowhere else, Colin, if there was a 9-year-old who was an unbelievable piano player, they would let her play at Carnegie Hall.
I watched 60 Minutes last night. The actress left school at 14 to be an actress. Now, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence, last night on 60 Minutes, is like, I just want to quit school and be an... By the way, I don't think there should be. I think you should be able to go right to the NBA. I never had a problem with it.
Absolutely, and it makes no sense, and it was a bad rule, and the NBA players, like I said, they're the ones who signed off on it, because if you're good enough, especially in other sports, you guys got guys going to the minor leagues in baseball.
Yeah.
Tennis players start at 14. How old was Michelle Wie when she went on the golf, the LPGA tour, right? 16, 14, 15?
Okay. You and I agree, but can we also agree on this? And we don't have to, because it's probably better if we don't agree. That if you do choose 9 months of college basketball at Michigan State, by the way, your first 6 games are in Maui, and your last 4 games are in the tournament, so you're getting promoted, it's not the worst choice in the world.
It's not the worst.
For 9 months and 4 classes.
Right, I get it. But why should you even have to do that if you don't want to?
You don't have to. You can go G League.
You shouldn't have to.
What's wrong with the G League?
But the G League is for one reason and one reason only.
What is that league?
And that league is to develop referees. That's not about players. Colin, that league is not about players.
Where are you getting this story?
Here we go. I'm just telling you, think about this. You have 12 guys on your roster and 3 guys who don't dress. Where are you going? There's no room for you. There's 3 guys sitting on the Lakers sidelines undressed who can't get in the game. So tell me where you're coming from the G League to play where? There's no room for you. There's already no room.
So you don't like the G League as an option?
I just don't think it's a real option. If a guy can play, he's not going to the G League. He's just not.
And by the way, this whole organized crime NCAA, that seems a little strong.
It's not strong. Just think about it. They punish the kids. So back, they changed it since. But you remember, if you went out and got an agent or entered the draft, oh, you're locked out of college. You can't come back. Why would you block kids from coming back if things didn't work out?
I agree with you.
Right? But why would you do that?
Yeah,
All the rules. Coaches could leave the kids behind and go get a job the next day and start working. The kids have to sit out a year. All this stuff. When Chris Webber and the Fab Five were at Michigan, if they got a free pizza for $5 for somebody, they want to throw them out of school, or they're selling the kids jerseys in the gift shop, you know, with their numbers on it, and they don't get a dime. I mean, all the stuff that was done. And then the NCAA gets a $6 billion deal from CBS to broadcast March Madness, and the kids can't get a pizza? Come on.
No, you and I agree on that.
This just ridiculous.
I think you should be able to go straight to the NBA. Now, I do think there'll be more busts in the draft because you're not. If I'm a GM, I'd like to have some tape besides you in high school.
But you know what? It's all on the GMs and the NBA. If a guy's not good enough, Colin, right, don't draft him. That's your responsibility.
No,
it's
you're
not
right.
the kid's responsibility. And it's okay for a kid to try. You know what? Colin, if he's a bust and nobody drafts him and it doesn't work out, you know what you got to do?
What?
Go get a job like everybody else. You had your basketball dream. You rolled the dice. It didn't work out. Now you got to go get a job. It's okay.
That seems, you know what? You and I agree almost on everything here. I have no problem with a guy going high school to the NBA. That's what LeBron did. That's what Garnett did. That's what Kobe did. Everybody always talks about these kids strewn into dark alleys in America. Even Sebastian Telfair, who didn't work out, ended up with $40 million.
I would take that.
If that's a sob story, it was in the league for like 6 years. That was the worst of it. It's like, listen, if you go and it doesn't work out, guess what? A lot of people get into broadcasting. It doesn't work out.
I just wonder where the NCAA is going from here, because I think for the first time, when the FBI with the tapes and all that, it's different when you always knew it was going on, but once you have tape, I always say it's like the Ray Rice thing. You know, when there was no video, before the video, he was going to play in the league again,
yeah,
right?
It wasn't less outrageous, but there is something about video igniting deep, visceral reactions. Shouldn't have to, but it's the reality. By the way, slick jacket.
You like that?
Where did you get that?
Oh, wow. It's a pullover.
It's a
Where did you
pullover.
get that?
You want one?
You didn't get one of those?
I had this
No.
made. No. I had this made.
No, you didn't.
Custom made. Seriously.
You got it custom made.
I could get you one, Colin. What size? Christy, you want one too? What size?
Sure.
I got a little gun show here. Make sure it's XL up top.
You know, XL?
Packing a lot of heat.
Oh,
you know what
I got.
Pow. Good seeing you, bud. When I
Always.
say Dollar Shave Club, the first thing that pops into your head should be an amazing, affordable shave. But there's other things. Blow your mind here. You should also think not only about their executive razor, but them dominating now the bathroom, toothpaste, shampoo, razors, hair gel. Dr. Carver's shave butter, which I use every morning. No more trips to the store, wandering the aisles, hunting for razors, shampoo, and toothpaste. For a mind-blowing experience, join Dollar Shave Club today. $5 free shipping. You get the executive 6-blade razor, plus trial sizes of shave butter and body cleanser. Get yours, dollarshaveclub.com/Colin, COLIN. dollarshaveclub.com/Colin. The razor, the shave butter, the shampoo, the toothpaste. Fantastic.